Hello to all you Scorpios. Dear Scorpios, this is your monthly horoscope for February of 2021. It's going to be a big month for all the fixed signs, and you are one of them, especially if you've got planets around and about 7 degrees of Scorpio. I'll explain in a minute. So if you have a rising sign, your ascendant that is around 7 degrees, 5 to 10 degrees of Scorpio, or you've got your moon in Scorpio around those degrees, or you were born around and about the end of the month of October, so like the 30th of October, 31st of October, the 1st and the 2nd and the 3rd of November, you're gonna feel this the most, what I'm gonna talk about. Two things I want to talk about: Saturn-Uranus square. And that Saturn-Uranus square happens at 7 degrees of Aquarius and 7 degrees of Taurus. And also going to talk about the traffic jam in Aquarius and the Mercury retrograde. But let's start with what is this all about. So you've got 3 of those clashes happening this year. One on the 17th of February, then one in June, and one at the end of December. So we're having lots of time for implementing this energy of the Saturn-Uranus square. Now, Saturn-Uranus square, it's very simple. It's about change. For you Scorpios, it's about big changes. So if you do feel like life or everything is a bit on the line here, it is. Again, these are general horoscopes, but for a lot of you Scorpios, this means that because this is all happening in those fixed signs, these are key areas of your life. So when one thing changes, the other changes as well, right? Like when the relationship changes, maybe the work is going to change, or the place of living, and so on. It has a bit of a knock-on effect on life in general, in key areas of your life. So that's one thing. Now, what does it mean, this clash? Uranus and Saturn. Uranus wants change. Saturn doesn't want change. Now, there you've got it. But then you have to look at the furthest planet away. Always wins. I mean, it's I've seen it time and time again. It's about, that is where you need to focus on. So we need to focus on Uranus, but in a Saturnial kind of way. So we need to go for the changes for sure. For you, it's relationships, because Uranus is in your opposite sign of relationships. But it has to be slowly but surely, because of the square of Saturn. It's like slowing down the Uranus. If it would be just a Uranus, it would be a totally different picture. It's one of my favorite aspects, Saturn squaring up to Uranus. Why? Because it can give life-changing events. But because life-changing events has such a big energy level of it's such a growth that you're going through, that you're not just gonna do it in a couple of days, right? It's such a process with Saturn squaring up to Uranus. It's going for the changes for sure, but it's doing them with a bit of caution and with a bit of stress there, because you're doing it, and it demands like a lot of your consciousness to do it the right way. So and it depends on your character, what you will have a favorite of one of those planets, right? So if you are a bit more conservative, you're a bit more down to earth, you're a bit more slowly but sure, you're gonna be keen on Saturn. You're not gonna be keen on Uranus. When you are the Scorpio that has some fire in their chart, go-getter mentality, your love changes, which is not typical Scorpio. But anyway, there are Scorpios out there. When you're that type of person that wants to go, you will have to slow down your horses a little bit. So it really depends on your own personality, how you're going to react on this T-square. And this is not a bad thing. This simply shows that a lot of Scorpio are going through a lot at the moment. And what is the universe trying to say here? Universe is knocking on your door, Uranus, of relationships. There needs, whether you are single, whether you are with someone, there needs to come a change. Uranus is knocking on the door, not like, look, your attitude around relationships, we need to free this up, right? And you know, that could be thousands of scenarios. Maybe you are single and you're fed up with it, or maybe you are in a relationship, you're fed up with it, or whatever it is, that there's some kind of, I want to free myself up. Or your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend is acting very Uranian, is saying, I need my space here, right? So whatever it is, there is this change coming up on a relationship level. Now, for those of you who are a bit Saturnial, I would say be a little bit open for that. Don't resist it too much. Because if you're feeling that this is coming up, and a Scorpio wants to control, right? It's gonna work against you. So let things happen as they happen, but be very gentle with yourself and open up your heart a little bit for those changes that are in front of you, right? Listen to it. Listen to what the universe is trying to tell you. If you are the other way around, if you're someone like the Scorpio that loves Uranus, and say, yeah, bang, bang, bang. Oh, I'm fed up with my relationship. Let's just break it. Break the 20-year-old relationship and just go for that lovely woman or man or whatnot. I would say hold your horses. Yes, you might be going towards the right direction, but take it slow. Don't force it, and don't push it too much. You know, see what the universe is telling you. Don't put too much logs on the fire. It has to the fire has to be able to fire up itself, so to speak, when it's the true relationship that is good for you. So it's a very, very energy that demands a lot of consciousness to handle, but I think very interesting. Because at the end of 2021, your relationships will have shifted. Your relationships will have, your attitude towards it, they will have shift for sure, whether you like it or not. And it's better to do it with the pace of the energy of the planets than resisting it. So a lot happening there, but a lot of energy as well in your fourth house. So that is because I already talked about that in January, that you've got Jupiter there, Saturn there. So the fourth house is literally your house. It's your home environment. It's your roots. It's your family. But it's also your emotional state. So there could be some Saturnial energy, like a bit rigidity there in the emotions and being protective around emotions. But also expansive because of the Jupiter. And now there is a lot of benefic energy around that fourth house of yours, because you're going to have Venus there, you're going to have Mercury going backwards and forwards there, the Sun, the Moon. I mean, lots of energy there, but also positive energy. So it shows that you can have a bit more, you can have a party with Venus and Jupiter. I know I could not talk about parties, can I, with these times, but if you're not in a lockdown, let's say it like that, you can have a party at home with Venus, Jupiter, especially around Valentine. Because in a friendly way, Valentine, why? Because this is Aquarius, this is Venus, Jupiter conjunction there. So you're definitely up for some fun at home. Let's put it that way. And definitely good energy and rethinking about where you're coming from, what your ancestors were all about, because that has an effect on what you're all about. And that is because of the Mercury retrograde. At the 31st of January, Mercury went backwards in that fourth house of Aquarius up until the 22nd of February. So you could be going back literally to your land of origin, for instance, if you live in a different country. Or you could be, it's a good time to work with photos, pictures and albums and all of that, and having those times of going back, a bit nostalgic times, but in a positive way. Of this was my past, and that is why I am the person who I am today. And there's some sort of a gentle energy around that with this Venus Jupiter um, coming together, you know, around about the midst of the month. You're going to feel this a lot. So Mercury going backwards and forwards, it's definitely a standing still for you around your roots, around where you're coming from. Could also mean literally selling and buying a new house, because on the 11th of February there's a new moon there. So for some of you who are looking for a new home, it could be happening this month, selling or buying. So, but definitely some sort of a new beginning when it comes to your emotions and your emotional state. And yeah, quite an interesting month. A lot of energy towards your emotional welfare, so to speak, and it will be possible more than ever. You know, if you had a bit of a rough time, maybe feeling a bit isolated there or whatnot, there are changes coming up there because of all this benefics entering your fourth house. So that is definitely something to look forward to. Having said that, thank you so much for watching. I wish you a very, very good month and see you next month. Bye bye.